and the Secretary General, Comrade Fikile Mbalula. So we are now going to hand over to the chair of the commission. If he so wishes, you can introduce members of the commission who are here with you, and then proceed with the program of the day.
Yeah. Back there. Good morning. Let me start off by acknowledging to my right the Secretary General and the First Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Mbalula and Comrade Nomvula Mokonyane. And then, of course, to my left, we have Chief Matsila, who's the part of the Secretariat of the Electoral Committee, and Bunke Pakanyana, and the Deputy from Elections, which are our official agency for the management of the processes. Now I'm going to read out a very brief statement just to give you context. As the Electoral Committee set up by the ANC, we are delighted to share the results of the election for the National Executive Committee with our members, supporters, and citizens. As conference was adjourned yesterday, we were given a mandate to make public the results that we are going to share with you right now. The Electoral Committee is expected to act impartially and independently of political and candidate influence, oversee the actions of the agency and process, and hear objections and appeals about the rules, the nomination and elections process and its outcomes. The process of voting and counting was thorough, transparent, and delivered a result that is credible. Every province and league deployed 2 observers to the conference election process. They were there to protect the interests of members in their province or league and to ensure that the credibility of the elections and a result that reflects the will of our members. Voting took place from 10 a.m. up until 7 p.m. yesterday, Tuesday, 20th December 2022. Counting of the 4,019 votes cast by ANC delegates took place overnight and was completed at about 11 a.m. this morning. This means that 91% of voting delegates were able to cast their votes. We then embarked on an audit process which took at least 3 hours to ensure the accuracy of the results. 252 candidates or nominees appeared on the ballot paper in alphabetical order. All votes were cast and counted manually, and results for each ballot paper were manually captured in front of observers, and the results of the capturing process were tallied in a spreadsheet. Observers from each province and league watched the whole process and could raise any problems or complaints and ask for recounts if any of the ballot left them in doubt. Random samples of ballots were also drawn by observers and checked against the captured results. These were found to be 100% correctly captured. At the completion of the count, the totals for each of the 252 candidates were tallied. At this point, only the CEO of elections and the chair of the committee, the electoral committee that is, have had sight of and signed off the result sheet. As there were no material objections raised by observers, the electoral committee is satisfied with the process and the credibility of the result. We would like to thank the tireless and highly efficient elections agency staff and their managers, and our observers and members, and the volunteers of the electoral committee for working almost continuously for the last 3 days. We now wish to take this opportunity to present the newly elected 80 additional members of the ANC National Executive Committee, comprising of 41 women and 39 male comrades, in compliance with Rule 6 of the ANC Constitution. Given the fact that 3 women were already elected as national officials, the total number of women is 44, which is 50% of leaders elected in this National Executive Committee of 87 members. I now want to take this opportunity to present the 80, the list of 80, to the Secretary General, because otherwise I will be in trouble if I share it with you before presenting it to our principals. May I give that to be given to the Secretary General. Thank you very much. Comrade SG, this is the final list. I now proceed to read out the names of the additional 80 members of the National Executive Committee. And just to remind you, total eligible voters were 4,436. Total votes cast are 4,019. 4019. Spoiled papers were 133. Abstention 1. And so the percentage of voter turnout is 91%. So these names I'm going to read out in order of the votes tallied. First, we have Zigalala Zihle with 2,218 votes. And we have Manana Mduduzi with 2,152. We have Lamola Ronald with 2,105. 115 rather, sorry. And then we have Mtuli Mdumseni, 2,075. We have Tsele Beki, 2,022. We have Mpunu Senzo, 1932. We have Gigaba Malusi, 1856. We have Mabe Pule, 1806. We have Kodwa Zizi, 1792. We have Mapura David, 1772. We have Lungisa Andile, 1758. We have Ubai Mamuloku, 1730. We have Jumat Pedersen Tina, 1726. We have Ndabeni Abraham Stella, 1719. And we have Nkadimeng Tembi, 1681. We have Mkize Zwelini, 1673. We have Lekhanyani Soviet, 1653. We have Potgieter Phoebe, 1606. We have Godongwana Enoch, 1554. We have Besani Sibongile, 1546. We have Ikana Pinki, 1518. We have Manamela Buti, 1503. Mahlobo David, 1486. Matale Castle, 1478. Majodina Pemi, 1470. Zulu Lindiwe, 1451. Mutwaledi Aaron, 1448. Diko Kusele, 1439. Dlamini Batabile, 1430. Maswale Pumulo, 1425. Masina Mzwandile, 1408. Mudise Tandi, 1405. Dlamini Zuma Nkosazana, 1402. Gungubele Mondli, 1369. Didiza Togo, 1362. Tau Pax, 1362. Papela Obet, 1340. Mauma Pelo Supra, 1336. Maswanga Nyejo, 1317. Mahambetala Tandi, 1316. Masondo David, 1304. Madigizela Babalo, 1286. Kivit Nokolo, 1275. Nzuzan Jabulo, 1275. Masemula Dixon, 1268. Nkabani Nobuhle, 1248. Nkonyeni Peggy, 1248. Chrissy Barbara, 1242. Ramoko Pakosientu Sputla, 1229. Nchabeni Kumbutso, 1204. Pasha Joe, 1204. Sisulu Lindiwe, 1187. Poli Bushielo, 1182. Odlimpi Zuko, 1172. Mtauli Noneba, 1168. Makwetla Tabang 1,167, Nkenke Kikana 1,158, Silamulela Donald 1,143, Aba Cyril 1,128, Chikunga Sindisiwe 1,112, Lekwete Dakota 1,111, Chauke Bejali 1,106, Mchalinchali Lindiwe 1,092, Kabashe Lungi 1,091, Mafu Notawe 1,081, Nalumango Ronalda 1,067, Pule Dina 1,061, Maimela Joy 1,058, Mutsekha Enji 1,052, Bengu Mahlengi 1,038, Chwete Pem 1,024, Letsatsi Duba Dipuo 1,014, Mtsweni Tsipani Refilwe 1,008, Math Nomakosazana 997, Mutambi Faith 992, Tsapa Nokuzola Zolega 986, Tolashe Sisisi 973, Mshaule Regina 972, Siwela Violet 969, and Muraka Tandi 946. That makes up the total additional members, 80. And at this point, I think as the Electoral Committee, we wish to congratulate the newly elected members of the National Executive Committee. We wish them good luck in their new responsibilities to accomplish the renewal of the African National Congress. And I thank you for your kind attention.
Well done.
Thank you.
Wait, Chair. Yes, we are going to take leave now, but the SG just want to say something, a token of appreciation.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the African National Congress, National Conference, I wish to thank the Electoral Committee for a sterling job and for doing a job that made us all proud. With those words in good work, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. You are dismissed.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Kalima and the team.
Thank you, Bule.
Just for members of the media, going forward, the SG will be leading communications on issues relating to the outcomes. I'm sure that now and then he may call in the spokesperson, myself, to come in and do the work as well. So there's no challenge. So the SG wanted to.
I didn't details is asked. I don't know the details.
The list, yes, so what we do for the benefit, they've given the list to the SG, they will send us the soft copy, we'll be releasing the list shortly. Yes. Monama, where is the SG statement?
Thank you very much. I want to thank the media for being with us till thus far. From here, we will meet in Mangaung on the 5th of January, leading up to the ANC January 8 preparations. We have checked all our delegates have arrived home safely, except the sad news as some of our delegates encountered in KwaZulu-Natal. We extend the ANC sends its heartfelt condolences to the families of 2 delegates who died in road accident while en route home to Mzala Nxumalo region in KwaZulu-Natal. These are delegates who were part of the 55th National Conference, which was adjourned yesterday. Sadly, a leading figure in the Women's League, Mzala Nxumalo region, lost her life alongside another male comrade. One delegate sustained injuries and was hospitalized. The ANC will confirm all the names of the comrades injured and those who lost their lives in due course. Our province of KwaZulu-Natal is seized with the matter, and we will visit the families and the comrades as soon as tomorrow to pass our condolences, but at the same time to go and understand the details of what happened in terms of the accident. But nonetheless, the report we got from our security, and when we did the round check, it's only this accident that was reported. All our delegates arrived home and safe. I wish to thank you, like I did thank the Electoral Commission, and also congratulate all members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC. Tomorrow we will have our first officials meeting, the top 7, before we rise. And then the DSG Nomvula will be in Free State to lead the preparations of the January 8 in that province. This afternoon we will plot the preparations for the adjourned conference in Mangaung, so that we finish our business on the 5th of January. Comrade spokesperson, I want to thank you also for steering the ship. You didn't, after you were defeated, you didn't run away from the battle. You showed the true character of an ANC cadre, that you finish your job. But you have done a good job, Comrade Pule, steering the ship and ensuring that everything else is done and concluded properly. I think that is what ANC cadres are all about. You don't, after the result, run away. Yeah. You understood what is your job, and you still have the job, up until I tell you otherwise. So, thank you very much. If there's anything and follow-ups on this matter, myself, the DSG, and the second DSG, we will be available to take your interviews and to answer your questions. And Comrade Pule will set it up. But I want to thank the media for giving us this opportunity and honoring the African National Congress by giving us a big platform to cover our conference. We know that our relationship with the media is unity and struggle of the opposite. So not everything else you do we like, but we defend the right of freedom of expression, and we defend freedom of speech, and we defend the media. And where we did not fulfill some of your things that you wanted, our apologies. Will do better next time. We tried with the media village this time, and if you have your own complaints, we'll look at them and pull it in terms of the handover as we do evaluation, and we'll come back to you and improve for the better going forward. Thank you, Comrade Spokesperson.
Thanks, members of the media. I'm sure you've been fully clarified. We will issue the statement with the results of the additional members of the NEC. The first DSG and second DSG and the SG will be available if we need to set up interviews. DIP will still be coordinating that work. I am still here in my responsibility, as the SG has already said. So we'll support the officials and the NEC until such time that the NEC decides on what it wants to do in the communication space. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You want to ask? Okay.
Based on the list that was read out by Kuluma, it appears as if there are some members of the ANC that have been elected that have still some issues to go through. How are you going to deal with it? I'm talking about the likes of Batabile, Kamini, and then Isa, Osasa, and Kamini, my others.
Issues that were referred to the DC will stay like that. The issue of Batabile was attended to by the previous NEC in terms of the constitution. She was eligible to stand. The Andile Lungisa matter will be done and dusted and closed by the 5th of January, because we're supposed to report on that particular matter to the plenary. We did discuss it as the conference. There was a big lobby for Andile Lungisa to be in the NEC. So the steering committee ceased with that matter and will report to conference. The rest of other people who appear on the list with their issues, they are members of the ANC, and they are members of the ANC, and so they have a right to stand. Issues that affect them, which have been referred to the DC and were reported even publicly, will stay as such. And the disciplinary processes of the ANC will unfold and pronounce on those matters.
Okay, two hands. We didn't really want to have a long, you can come in and then normally you just take the 2 questions in box and then you answer them.
I am very happy with this NEC. It is youthful. It is going to be deployed. Me and the DSG, we don't play. You don't perform, we mark the register. So this is not a holiday zone. I'm very happy. There's a lot of Youth League people. It is energetic. It's like I'm convening the National Executive Committee of the Youth League. I saw Bo Mahlengi, David Makura, Pakstau, just to mention a few. Bononeba, Bojoy. Hey, there is a lot. It's all of them there. Zizi Kodwa, Malusi Kigaba, Sitlezi Galala, Pule Mabe. There is a lot of them. Look at that list. Pule will have it. It's a good mix. A whole lot of older people have left. Very few have stayed behind. I didn't see Joel. Yeah, a big problem for me to lose a strategist like that, Joel Nechitenze. So, but nonetheless, we've got work to do. So I'm very happy overall that we do have good people and young people in the National Executive Committee.
I'm sorry, but I have to ask this. I know you say a lot of old people have surely somehow if the president prerogative, but at some point the ANC may need to engage with the president to make a reconsideration in the executive, looking at the list of NEC members, not that NEC election may be appointed to government, but would you be engaging with the president on that? Because surely somehow taking into account the fact that the deputy president of the ANC is not in the executive, that you will be arriving as well. There is a vacancy created by the departure of Iron and all the months ago. Is the cabinet reconsideration something that will be discussing with the president?
The president should be applying his mind about this cabinet. And the Secretary General, I will have a discussion with him, but it's his prerogative. He's got to think about cabinet. If he's not thinking about it, that will be reckless of him to do that. He is and should be thinking about it and how to strengthen the executive, because from our side, I want a cabinet that is breathing life to society and running. That is non-negotiable. So I think he should be doing that. And he's got the whole December to think, if he's not thinking about it. Somewhere in the beach, fishing and so on, thinking about what is going to happen. So I'm definitely sure that he's applying his mind, and we will discuss with the president, but it's his prerogative, because issues of cabinet, they've got a way that they are handled. Even myself as Secretary General, I still have to be inducted. In my experience as Secretary General of the Youth League, I've never dealt with the deployment of people in cabinet and so on. So it can be unilateral decision, but the SG and the president have got to engage on those issues. So it will definitely happen.
Just the last one for me, it would appear based on the list, I have not seen it, but the representation of the alliance partners, the SACP, I have not read the list, please come in, but after this I would assume that there may be concerns that not too much members of the party form the list of the newly elected NEC members.
The officials will sit and evaluate, look at this list, and propose to the National Executive Committee what should we do to maintain the balance going forward. So I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but you are raising an important issue. Indeed, I didn't see Plate, Tulas and them in this National Executive. So we'll have to look into those things. Not only the party, look at, we are given, yes, we are given an option to co-opt. So look at minorities. Are we well represented in that front, in the NEC, the alliance, and all of that? We're going to look into that. So after the adoption of the Constitution, use the co-option, therefore, we can use it to balance the National Executive Committee. So we still have got that particular option. That conference is given to the National Executive Committee to use in case people pass away, and also to address the imbalances in the National Executive Committee. Surely we will apply our mind and look at those issues, and also engage with the collective, the National Executive Committee, about the way forward.
Just to add, SG, you were saying you are very excited about the youthfulness of this list. You have members of the Central Committee and the Politburo of the South African Communist Party in this list. David Masondo, Buti Manamela, Buti. You have Polly Bushielo. Yeah, they are young. They've just been recently elected, and Masondo is also in the office bearers of the South African Communist Party. So it's also the reflection that the SG has raised about the youthfulness of this team, but it also resembles the youthfulness of the Communist Party leadership post their National Congress. Thanks.
Just a quick one. In terms of the parliamentary process relating to issues such as Kalapana, how important, how urgent those issues be for this new FDC? Is the party likely to relook some of the decisions that were taken by the party before this conference, which will continue on the same line that the party
There will be a meeting of the National Executive Committee. We've got a lot of work to do. There will be a handover. Luckily, we're part of those NEC meetings. We know what has been decided. They will be constituting new committees of the National Executive Committee that includes the Integrity Commission itself and all other committees. So those committees will have to get a handover report in order to deal with the matters at hand. We will deal with these issues when the executive has established committees and those committees are given tasks. The handover process is going to happen immediately after January 8. We're going to have an induction of the National Executive Committee, and then following the induction, we're going to have a National Executive Committee that is going to deal with the resolutions of conference, the program of action of the ANC, and then that National Executive Committee is going to deal with the election of the NWC and the committees of the National Executive Committee that are going to be constituted. And each committee will be given tasks, among others. So, Integrity Commission, how it is constituted by members, we're going to have to constitute new committees. That includes the Integrity Commission. So, the timeline of the Integrity Commission and other committees has lapsed. So we've got to undergo a new process in terms of the National Executive Committee. So that's what we're going to do. So Phala Phala has been dealt with in Parliament, and if anything that arises, we will deal with it as and when it comes up. From where we are seated, the matter has been handled by the public protector, has been handled by the law enforcement agencies. We will watch that space closely and then process it accordingly in the organization.
Okay, we take the last hand from Tebo Mkobo, and then the SG will answer.
SG, you very effectively organizing, very organizing, very organizing, also we have anyone in mind secondly, a president, a bad president, I don't know whether it's bad, but a bad president, as we said, is that the president of the government doesn't
finish his term.
Second term. After election 2007, both presidents were involved. Is this president going to finish his second term? Or are you going to guarantee for the
The president is elected and we want him to finish his term. This president has conducted himself very well, and he has added value to the ANC over 5 years as president. The reception by society has been good, and the president of the ANC and all of us want to finish our terms. And so I think that question does not arise. If you raise it because of Phala Phala, it's another story altogether. What was your other question?
Do you have anyone in mind to please?
No, I don't have anybody in mind. I think we'll look at the NEC and look at the energies that are there, and people who can do the work. I don't know Nomvula, but I like energy. I don't want people who are sleeping on the job, but I want energy, I want dynamic people who are going to get these committees going. There's a whole lot of committees there, and so on. Of course, organizing and the role of media and so on is always important. I believe in team approach. The ANC had at some point 3 spokespersons, very dynamic. Kalni House, Akima Tozoma, Gil Marcus.
And they did well.
And that they did well. So it can't be business as usual. We need to tap from those positive things that happened in the past and then bring them to life. Personally, I want people who can speak and then all the time and talk properly for the ANC and apply their mind. So that model of the ANC that time worked very well, and they complemented each other like nobody's business. So in today's time, media is important. The face you put in the media explaining ANC policies. I'm not the spokesperson. I'm the Secretary General. I'm the bearer of good and bad news of the African National Congress. And I hope we will have less of bad and increase on the good going forward. But in between that, I can't be hip-hopping studios like I'm campaigning to be SG. We've got to be dynamic in a way, and I think that part is going to be important going forward. So we're going to apply our mind on committees and so on, maybe chairpersons, deputy chairpersons, and all of that. So we're going to look at this very closely and just to add value in the work of the movement. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks very much, members of the media. We have already circulated the list of additional members on our it's there on our media portal and across, or you've already received. To see how effective we are.
Okay? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Listen here, KZN is not a country.
Yes.
Kasi may t-shirt siya ka in cham.